Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to start today's presentation on Byroy's Pathfinder. Today's focus is an introduction to sociology. We'll be exploring what sociology is, why it's important, and how it helps us understand society better. So, let's dive in and discover the fascinating world of sociology together. Let's start by breaking down the word sociology itself. It comes from the Latin word socius, which means companion or associate, and the Greek word logos, meaning study, science, or speech. So, essentially, sociology is about understanding society and how people relate to one another. This term was coined by the French philosopher Auguste Comte back in 1838. He wanted to define it as the science of society, or simply, the study of companionship. It's a way of exploring how humans organize themselves and interact within different social settings. Sociology isn't just about individual behaviors. It's a scientific study of human society, social relationships, and culture. It looks at how social forces and structures, things like family, education, and government, shape our actions and attitudes. And these influences can range from our personal, everyday lives to larger global issues. The goal of sociology is to find patterns, understanding social order and how change happens over time. By examining these patterns, we gain insights into why societies function the way they do and how they evolve. It's a fascinating field that helps us see the bigger picture behind our social world. Sociology is truly essential because it helps us analyze complex social structures that shape our lives. By understanding these structures, we can better address social issues like poverty, crime, and inequality, which are often interconnected and deeply rooted in society. It also encourages us to think critically about human behavior and the cultural dynamics that influence our actions and interactions. What's really powerful about sociology is that it provides empirical data, meaning real, measurable information, that can inform public policy. This data helps policymakers create effective solutions for social problems. Additionally, sociology drives social change by highlighting issues that need attention and inspiring action. Ultimately, it enhances our understanding of social institutions, like families, schools, and governments, and how they function within society. So, in the bigger picture, sociology is key to creating a fairer, more informed, and more responsive society. As we look at this slide, I want to highlight how the rise of industrialization, urbanization, and significant political changes across Europe, particularly in France, England, and Germany, really pushed thinkers to focus on important social issues. These included questions about social order, inequality, and how society was evolving. In the 19th century, these rapid transformations prompted a new way of understanding society. Sociology emerged as a response to the upheavals brought on by the Industrial Revolution and political shifts. Its goal was to apply scientific principles to study social change, which was quite a shift from previous approaches rooted in theology or philosophy. The term sociology itself was coined by Auguste Comte in 1838. He believed that we could understand society's laws through positivism, emphasizing empirical observation, meaning we rely on evidence rather than speculation. This marked a move towards a more scientific and systematic study of society. So, when we talk about the historical sketch of sociology, it's important to see it as a discipline born out of a desire to better understand the complex social transformations of that era. It aimed to uncover the underlying patterns and laws that govern social life, helping us make sense of a rapidly changing world. The scope of sociology is incredibly broad, and that's what makes it so fascinating. It covers the study of human social life, which includes how people interact and the structures that shape our societies. These range from very small, intimate interactions, like conversations with friends, to large-scale global social processes that affect entire nations and cultures. Sociology looks at social institutions such as family and religion, which are fundamental to how societies function. It also examines social stratification, meaning how society is divided into different classes, and how factors like gender influence social roles and opportunities. Understanding social change is another key part of sociology, how societies evolve over time, and recognizing social problems that can arise along the way. All these elements are interconnected and help us understand the bigger picture of human behavior within society. As we move forward in this presentation, keep in mind that sociology's broad scope helps us see the complexities of social life from multiple angles. Now, let's take a closer look at the key areas of study in sociology. First, social institutions. These are the structured systems like family, education, religion, government, and the economy that shape our daily lives and social order. They provide stability and guide our behavior in many ways. Next, social processes and interaction focus on how individuals engage with each other within groups, networks, and communities. This helps us understand how social bonds form and how social norms are maintained or challenged. Then we have social stratification, which examines inequalities based on factors like class, caste, race, and gender. This area reveals how disparities persist and affect individuals' opportunities and life chances. Moving on, social change and development look at how societies evolve, whether through technological innovations or cultural shifts, and how these changes impact social structures over time. Finally, socialization is the process by which we learn and internalize the norms and values of our society, shaping our identities and guiding our behavior. All these areas are interconnected and essential for understanding the complex fabric of society as we explore how human behavior and social structures influence each other. All right, let's talk about the nature of sociology. First, it's important to understand that sociology employs systematic methods of observation, empirical research, and verification to gather data. This means we rely on actual evidence and tested methods rather than guesses or superstitions. We want to be as objective and scientific as possible. Next, it's crucial to remember that sociology is a social science, not a physical science. That's because it focuses on human behavior, relationships, and social phenomena, things like culture, institutions, and social interactions, rather than physical objects or natural laws. Another key point is that sociology is categorical and value-neutral. This means we study society as it is, without trying to say how it should be. We avoid moral judgments and remain objective, which sets sociology apart from fields like ethics or social philosophy that do involve normative perspectives. So, in essence, sociology is a scientific discipline that seeks to understand human society through objective, evidence-based methods, and it does so without bias or moral judgment. This objectivity helps us get a clear picture of social realities as they truly are. When we look at the nature of sociology, one of the key aspects is that it is both empirical and rational. This means that sociology relies heavily on data collection, gathering real-world information through observations, surveys, and experiments. But it doesn't stop there. We also apply logical reasoning to analyze that data, helping us understand the social patterns and structures that shape our lives. Another important point is that sociology is about generalizing and abstracting. Instead of focusing on individual, unique events, it aims to identify broader principles or laws that govern human behavior. It's about recognizing patterns, types of social structures, and relationships that recur across different contexts. And finally, sociology operates on multiple levels, both macro and micro. On a micro level, we look at individual interactions, how people communicate, form relationships, and influence each other. On a macro level, we analyze larger social institutions like government, education, or economic systems, as well as broader societal issues like social stratification and class structures. All these aspects together give us a comprehensive understanding of society, showing how individual actions connect to larger social forces. This multi-level, data-driven, and pattern-seeking approach really defines what sociology is all about. Now, let's look at how sociology explores the differences in lifestyle, culture, and social structures between rural and urban communities. These differences are really fundamental because they shape how people live, interact, and think. Rural areas often have close-knit communities with traditions and routines that have been passed down through generations. Urban areas, on the other hand, tend to be more dynamic, diverse, and fast-paced, with a variety of social influences. This slide also highlights two important branches of sociology. First, rural and urban sociology, which examines how the environment, whether rural or urban, affects people's behavior and social interactions. It helps us understand how these environments influence individual and group life. Next, social psychology focuses on how social environments and group dynamics shape individual behavior, interaction, and cognition. It looks at things like how group membership influences our attitudes and actions. Then, we have social institutions, like family and education, which are the backbone of social organization. Studying these helps us see how society functions and maintains stability. Finally, theoretical sociology involves developing frameworks to explain social phenomena. These theories give us a lens to interpret social patterns and understand the complex web of human relationships and structures. All these branches together help us grasp the rich diversity of social life and how different environments and social organizations shape human behavior across communities. Now, let's look at some of the key branches of sociology and what they focus on. First, we have political sociology, which studies the relationship between society and politics. Here, we're exploring how power is distributed and exercised, how governance structures are formed, and how social movements influence change. It's all about understanding the connection between social forces and political processes. Next is economic sociology. This branch analyzes the social aspects of economic behavior, including production and consumption. It looks at how social factors shape economic actions and institutions, and in turn, how economic activities impact society as a whole. It's an important reminder that economics isn't just about numbers, but deeply rooted in social context. Then we have sociology of religion. This field studies religious beliefs, practices, and institutions, and examines their influence on society. It helps us understand how religion shapes social norms, identities, and community bonds, and how religious institutions interact with other social structures. Finally, there's criminology, or the sociology of deviance. This branch investigates the causes of crime and deviant behavior, as well as legal systems and how society responds to deviance. It's essential for understanding the social dynamics behind criminal activity and social responses, helping us develop fairer and more effective policies. All these branches highlight the diverse ways sociology helps us understand different facets of human society, linking back to our overall theme of how social structure influences individual and collective behavior. Let's take a closer look at how social factors influence health, illness, and healthcare systems. These factors include things like socioeconomic status, community support, education, and cultural beliefs, all of which play a crucial role in shaping health outcomes. We also explore how human societies interact with their natural environments, how our behaviors and societal structures impact the environment, and in turn, how environmental conditions affect our health. This brings us to the sociology of health and medicine, which helps us understand these complex relationships. Alongside that, environmental sociology specifically examines how environmental factors influence social life and health issues. Finally, all of these topics fall under the broader branches of sociology. By studying these branches, we gain a comprehensive view of how social and environmental factors intertwine to shape health and healthcare systems overall. This understanding is essential as we work toward more effective and equitable health solutions. Thank you so much for your attention today. I really appreciate your time and interest in this presentation. Remember, the ideas we've discussed are all aimed at helping us move forward and achieve our goals more effectively. If you have any questions or want to explore any of these topics further, please don't hesitate to reach out. Once again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to working together to make these concepts a reality.